Hi there, Tracy Perry with Hope for the Journey. I wanted to talk about how to get the healing that you deserve, even when your therapist has to pause. Um, this can feel very devastating for clients because you it's so hard to find a good therapist, and you get connected with someone, and then if they have to pause for some reason, like or in therapy, even because of an illness or maternity leave or something that's going on their end, it can feel really devastating. But it's so important for you to be able to still get the healing that you deserve and not have that so dependent on someone else being the only one that can provide that care for you. So I'm going to give you some tips if you happen to be in that situation, or just log this away in the back of your head if that is to come to play, and then pull it back out when you need it. So the first tip that I have for that is, it is devastating when you get this news, but it can be helpful just to remind yourself, and most people do this, but just remind yourself that your therapist is human and has their own set of struggles and obligations outside the therapy room. It can be easy to forget that, right? In therapy, we call it a one-way relationship. It's really two ways. Our clients give us so much back, but they don't know a lot about us. There's rules about how much we can disclose and what kind of relationships we can have, what kind of activities we can do with clients. And that's for good reason, because we want the therapy space to be a time that's just for the client, right? Where it's just all about you, and it's not a friendship where it's a give and a take. It's just time for you. But it can be hard to remember then that your therapist is going through their own struggles. They have their own medical and mental health issues. They've got their own families. They've got deaths in the family. And yes, they do get pregnant and go on maternity leave. Or they decide to do something different, go to a different job, or shift gears in some way, right? And so reminding yourself that they are human and that these things do happen, but that it doesn't mean that you have to end everything that you're working on. So these 3 steps can really help. When you're with your therapist, or if maybe it's sudden and you don't have the time, you can still do this on your own. Just take some time to review your progress so far. Really think back to when you started. Why'd you start? What did you go in with? What was the original goal? Have you made progress towards those goals? What kinds of progress? So for instance, let's say that you came in because you were feeling depressed and feeling suicidal every day. And now you haven't felt suicidal in a month. Write that down. If you came in and you were having flashbacks and nightmares every day and were really having trouble sleeping, and it's gotten worse, write that down. That's important. This is something you should be doing with a good therapist on an ongoing basis. But when you're at this crossroads, it's helpful to write down what progress you had. Sometimes when you do this, you might find that you actually have met your treatment goals, and you were just kind of continuing in therapy because it feels good and it's nice to have someone listen to you. But maybe you're ready to, I don't know, fly on your own and try that for a little while. Sometimes this can be the push that you need that clarifies that, yeah, I have completed all my treatment goals. I'm ready, and you can move through it. Other times, it gets really helpful then to get really super specific in what you need, and then to allow you to start looking for it. So if we go to we go to step B, and we need to start looking for what you need, what you want to do is take the progress that you've made, what's worked, what hasn't worked, and create for yourself a plan for how you're going to get your needs met during the looking. Right? We've got specific on what we're looking for, what's worked, what hasn't looked. That's going to help us form what kind of therapist we want. But then we need a plan for how we're going to take care of ourselves in the meantime when we're trying out a new therapist. Even if you're like a therapist, a client of ours at Hope for the Journey, we've got Nia. She's fabulous. She is a great matchmaker. and she holds your hand to get you in with another one. So recently, Katie Harmon, our clinical director, went on maternity leave. And so we needed to help some clients to transition to other clinicians. And Nia is able to really do that in a great way. So even when you have that, it doesn't mean that Nia's clairvoyant. She doesn't know 100% if you're going to be a great match. Even your therapist isn't going to know 100% how you're going to mix with this new therapist. And so you need to be able to tolerate it not going well, because sometimes it's a great fit immediately, and sometimes it takes a little bit of persistence. So in the meantime, create a plan for how you're going to schedule in this extra time that it might take, and what you're going to need before, during, and after, so that you're not so stressed and you have the margin to do this work. So we've got review your progress, figure out what you need, create a plan for what you're going to need to be able to look for a new therapist, and then create a list of everything you need to maintain your progress, right? Are these things that you're ready to do on your own? Do you have friends and support systems that you're going to need to talk to and say, hey, my therapist isn't here anymore. I might need to cry on somebody's shoulder a little bit more, right? Go ahead and create that list of those things, ask for it directly. And now you have a great plan, and all you have to do is implement it. And in this way, be able to move into a new journey, a new chapter of your healing, and allow you to continue with your progress instead of getting sidetracked. Awesome. Well, I hope that's helpful. If you have questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. Put them in the comments if you're watching this online, or shoot me back a reply if it's an email. But yeah, don't give up on what you need and what originally drove you into therapy. Let's go and get all those treatment goals met so that you can feel better. Thanks.